Hello, Sir David the Bard. Still happy after vacation. Coming to you from Kangaroo City out of the great continent of Australia. I wanted to do a little video here on my testimony of why I think Joesph Smith was a true prophet. Now, the more I read about Joesph Smith and the more I learn about Joesph Smith, he is a man before his time. Renaissance? I don't think so. Bullshit? Yes, I think so. But I wanted to leave you my testimony. I was just reading something here that I thought would strengthen your testimony on the strength of Joesph Smith and who he was and what he did. Okay, here we go. Here is a patriarchal blessing given by Joesph Smith's father, who was a patriarch, I guess. I know he appointed many members of his family, a little bit of nepotism, but anyway, here's a patriarchal blessing that was given to a gentleman, and it's in the Young Women's Journal, pages 263 and 264. That was an old LDS magazine for young women. Well, here we go. Our Sunday chapter. The inhabitants of the moon. Joseph Fielding Smith, in answer to gospel questions, said we would never go to the moon. Well, there's another prophet that's got his head up his ass, but here's another one, okay? The astronomers and the philosophers have from time to time, until very recently, asserted there was nobody on the moon. Well, the Mormons know there is somebody on the moon. Here we go. Nearly all the great discoveries of men in the last half century, in one way or another, either directly or indirectly, contributed to prove Joesph Smith to be a prophet. I guess Dad loved his son. I don't know. But I don't think there's too many discoveries that prove Joesph Smith was a prophet. It seems to me all the ones I've read say he was a con man, a child molester, whatever. Anyway, let's hear what the Spirit of the Lord told the prophet here, or the patriarch. As far back as 1870, I knew, he said, the moon was inhabited by men and women, the same as the earth, and that they lived to a greater age than we do. They generally lived nearly up to 1,000 years. Okay? I don't know what they eat or what they breathe, but they live a long time. All right. He described, now this is Joesph Smith describing, this is not his father. Okay, this is his father saying in the patriarchal blessing, this is what Joesph Smith said. He described the men as averaging nearly 6 feet in height and dressing quite uniformly in something near the Quaker style. So, you've got 6-foot Quakers living to 1,000 years on the moon. God. Oh, that makes a burning in my bosom. That makes my rectum tighten. I'll never go to the bathroom again. This is a prophet. You Mormons, this is what your man said. You Mormons, this is what you're a part of. You Mormons, you support this. Oh, he was speaking as a man. My ass. He's not a man. He's not a prophet. In my patriarchal blessing given by the father of Joesph Smith the prophet in Kirtland in 1837, I was told that I should preach the gospel before I was 21 years old, that I should preach the gospel to the inhabitants upon the islands of the sea and, quote, to the inhabitants of the moon. Maybe Monson's idea of moving the age down to 18 is getting ready to send the missionaries to the moon. Do you remember? You don't. You're too young. Jackie Gleason in The Honeymooners, his wife would smart off to him and said, Alice, to the moon! Anyway, They're going to send all of these young 18-year-olds to the moon to preach the gospel to the 6-foot Quakers that live forever. He said the first two promises have been fulfilled. The latter one, going to the moon, hasn't been fulfilled yet, but I think it will be someday here. I'm paraphrasing. Oh, God. Okay. Anyway, there we are. God. You know, if you're LDS, you live with it. If you're LDS, you live with it. He was a pedophile. He was a convicted con man, convicted of stealing money and money fraud in New York, and was given leg bail to get out of New York. We have proof and documents of that now. So anyway, if you young Mormons are going to send your kids on a mission, make sure they ain't going to the moon. It might be a one-way trip. Now, you know, when Neil Armstrong stepped off the ship there, I don't know if they just moved the cameras, but there were probably hundreds, if not thousands, of 6-foot Quaker men wanting a Book of Mormon. What crap? This gets more and more crap saturated as you get to know this cult and the men who run this cult. Joesph Smith saying that there were 10-foot or 6-foot Quaker men wanting a Book of Mormon and the missionaries to come up there and teach them the gospel. God, I would take a trip to the moon just to get away from the Mormons. I don't want them coming up to the moon. Thanks.